Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome, my gorgeous Libras. This is going to be your June 2025 reading. Um, as many of you know, I pre shuffle all the decks before I start a reading. And that's really where I'm meditating on your sign. And I have to tell you, I wrote a lot down. So, not a lot, but let me just tell you what I got. So, I feel like this is going to be a very powerful month for relationships. Um, if I'm right, Venus, which is your ruling planet, is going to really enhance your natural charm. This could bring new relationships or strengthen existing relationships. Um, Remain open to all possibilities. Like, this is a time to just always possible. That should be your mantra this month. All is possible. You may also feel drawn to learning new skills or to pursue a hobby. Um, that could allow your, let's say, your empress side, your creative side to really come out. And you are a very creative sign already. So, it kind of feels like it may be tenfold. You're encouraged to explore the spiritual side of yourself, like delve deeper into understanding yourself. I feel like that's always a good idea. I feel like you're going to get insights. It's going to help you realign with your higher purpose. I also feel money has a really nice progress for June. Um, Many, I feel, are going to start seeing the fruits of your labor now. Now, it depends, like, when you began something, but think about that. The seeds that you're planting. Um, well, I feel like some seeds that have already been planted, now you're going to start seeing the fruits of those labors. But some of you, you're going to be planting new seeds. And, I feel like nurture those seeds because they may grow, well, it could grow into a new relationship, may grow into a new type of career. Really, again, all is possible. So, the one thing I want to say, though, is just to watch your stress levels. Your stress level could go back and forth. So I feel like this would be a good month to really practice like deep breathing, in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Be a great time for meditation, getting out into nature, anything you can do that really what it's doing, it's rebalancing you. And think about it, Libra, your major arcana is justice. And justice is all about balance, what's fair and just. Justice is about making you whole again. So this feels like it's going to be a very, very good month for you. Um, I feel like you've had some rocking months up until this point, but now it feels like the energy is changing. So, and I feel like your ruling planet probably has a big part to play in that. Mercury is going to be in retrograde. So just keep that in mind. Like as it comes to like signing contracts, you want to read all the fine print. Um, you know, when you're speaking, just be careful. You might want to think about what you're saying because Mercury retrograde could have us saying something that unfortunately we can't take back. But knowing that Mercury's in retrograde certainly helps the situation. It may make you take a step back and be like, wait a minute, do I really mean that? But if you do, then say it. But other than that, I don't know. I get a good feeling for you. I want to give a shout out real quick to my nephew Sean, who his birthday is September 24th. He's right on the cusp of Virgo and Libra, but he is a Libra. My gorgeous granddaughter Lily, October 14th. My beautiful sister Tracy, who has crossed over, is October 15th. And let me just say, all very, very creative. I know you've heard me say that before, but they are. It's just, you are such a creative sign. All right. So, what we're going to do is we will give Mother Mary the honor of opening up your reading. We will use the Gilded Tarot to clarify and go deeper. I'm going to use the Archangels for your main spread. This is one of the newest decks. Well, it is the newest deck to the family. And we're going to use the major arcanas for bullet points. But let's go ahead and, oh, by the way, this is for Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Certainly you could have planets in the sign of Libra. Many of you are intuitively guided, and I thank you for paying attention to your intuition, as do your spirit team, your spiritual team, because that's who I read through, our spiritual team. Um, some of you may be in love with the Libra. Again, your spiritual team knows that, and they know that you're here. They may know that you're going to be here before you knew you were going to be here. So just be open to receiving messages for yourself also. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring the lid down. And let's go ahead and begin this portion. I want to say begin the reading, but really I feel like the reading begins as soon as I hit um, record. All right, Mother Mary, my beautiful Libras, words of wisdom for June 2025. Be strong. I pull myself up and do what needs to be done. Be strong. Okay, let's give it one more shuffle, see if anything else wants to come out. Just had a feeling. We have grace. I am filled with the same beauty, poise, and divine perfection as all of God's other creatures. To me, it feels like value, like your value. And grace really represents also the number 5. So it may speak about some changes, but knowing that you're worth whatever these changes are. So if there are changes coming, I feel like they're going to be very good changes and gracefully. So be strong and grace. And I feel like that's simply talking about understanding your own value. All right, but it'll come up in our reading. Let's bring out the major arcanas. A shuffle and a cut. All right, Libra. My beautiful Libra. Whoa. Okay, we've got a few, but they're all face up, so we're going to take them. All right, we start with the Death card, which is really transformation. So something is probably ending. We know that we're in a universal year 9, so we know a 9-year chapter is ending. But the Death card is about the rebirth that happens after the fact. A closing of a door, but a new door opening. Like, we should never fear the Death card. Because its promise of a new door, it always happens. It always will happen. We have the Hierophant, number 5. So, kind of ties back to grace. But this is about your belief system. your faith, hope, and believing in it. Sometimes I feel like it wants you just to question it. Are you living life according to your standards, your morals? And if not, why? And can you? And should you? Again, in number 5, following the death card, right? Closing, and then the Hierophant. And I often feel this Hierophant is about to make a blessing. So let's see. We have the Strength card. I'll slide those over. By the way, we have Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo right now. We have the Magician. Perfect. Perfect. That's exactly what I'd want to see with the Death card here. We have, well, hello, Will. Hello, Destiny. And if that wasn't good enough, how about Temperance? How about divine timing? Temperance's first message is patience. And it's about trusting in divine timing. But because the Death card is opening up this reading, it does mean that, something is ready to go. Because your wheel is about to spin. So patience, yes, but then also trusting in divine timing. So that means something divine is about to happen when it's sitting next to the wheel like this. The Magician, the manifester. Well, right next to the wheel. I mean, really, this is quite beautiful. Temperance mirroring the Death card. Like, when is divine? A lot of people ask that. Like, when is divine timing? We always talk about divine timing. When is it? As soon as one door closes, this divine timing opens. And you, the Magician, your power in it. I feel like that's why also the Hierophant is here, right? Like questioning your faith. Are you living life the way that you want to live it? Are your morals intact? Are the people around you, are their morals intact? If not, do I want to help or do I not? And then comes the Strength card. Well, that is you. That's the inner you. That's the ability to control the beast within us. And sometimes that beast can simply be like, I want something now, when it just wasn't the right time. But now, this feels like the right time, not only for something good, but I feel like something great. It's like the Magician and the Hierophant both looking at the Strength card, which again is that inner you. The person also has the infinity symbol. So knowing that you're connected to above, always. And then using that energy as a magician. The Magician is a reminder to us that we possess, all the power that we need to manifest the type of life we want. Granted, sometimes it doesn't turn out exactly the way I had pictured it, but with Temperance here, it's only going to be better. It's only going to be better. There does seem like there was a need, to like really know yourself, the good, the bad, and the ugly, like know all parts, the light and the shadow. What is that beast within us? And we all have that. But it's learning to balance that, right? The light and the dark. Each of them have their own time. It's not to get rid of it, it's to balance it. And if we remember with the Strength card, what it ultimately gives us is courage. And then you put that with the magician and the wheel. It's literally like, what do you want to manifest today? You have divine behind you. You have light energy. I feel like the one thing it may require is the closing of a door. It's some type of transformation. But I get the feeling that because there's a 5 next to it, you probably already knew that. You know what I mean? And maybe some of you, that's what you're asking. Like, that's what you're questioning. By the way, feel free to ask your spirit guides also to give you signs of confirmation through the reading. I mean, I do feel like the reading is a big sign, but let your guides help you define you within the reading. Right now, I feel like I'm talking to all of you. All right, let's bring in the archangels. Again, they're already pre-shuffled, but I do like to give them a shuffle with you here. Let's give them a cut. I'm really coming to love this deck. It's just a little big for my hands, but other than that, all right. Shuffling weird. There we go. It's like they needed a minute. We have the King of Pentacles. Can be Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. We don't have any of that out here. Oh yeah, we do. We have Taurus. But it certainly doesn't have to be that prosperous, generous, successful. Now, that can be you. And it probably is you. We'll see. There's a man standing next to what looks like an old oak tree. And I don't know, trees represent wisdom to me. So I have a feeling this person's also wise spiritually. Okay, wow. Okay, we just got to lock them out, but we're going to take them. First of all, they're all face up. We have, interesting, the Page of Pentacles. From the King of Pentacles to the Page of Pentacles. We have the Five of Pentacles under the Strength card. We have the Ace of Swords. We're going to do 5 across. We have the Knight of Swords. All right, so I want to readjust this a little bit. There we go. We have, hello, your major arcana. Here it's called balance. This is justice. Compromise, self-control, moderation. We have, oh my gosh, the Knight of Pentacles. Well, I love the Knight of Pentacles. And we'll come back to that. And then look at this. We have the Strength card again. Kind of mirroring the Strength card. 1111. Okay. So before we take any more cards, let's look at what we have. So we have the Knight of Swords mirroring the King of Cups. Or, I'm sorry, the King of Pentacles. This could certainly be some type of communication. Here it says intellectual, determined, motivated. Well, I like that coming under Temperance. We have the Ace of Swords right before that. Inspiration, communication, adjustments, but sitting on the wheel. It could be, I don't know. I feel like something unexpected is coming your way. I love the angel's influence around the Ace of Swords because to me that means if it's communication, it's truthful communication. But right in the middle of the spread so far is the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles is kind of like a tower. Um, something happens outside of your control. Interesting, it says lack, worry, or assistance. So it does feel like something happened. Something happened, maybe outside of your control. Yet I feel like you have the ability, even though it was outside your control, let's just say to rebound. But maybe whatever happened was meant to happen, especially with the death card here, right? A closing of a door. I could have been resistant, in closing this door. So the universe does it for me. I feel like you've been in a period of time of, well, not everybody, but a lot of you in some deep reflection. A lot of you are taking the year that we're in, right? The last year of a 9-year cycle, you're taking it seriously because you know that this new chapter, the next chapter that's opening up, matter of fact, it is the energy of the magician, but it will be for the next 9 years. What do I want to bring along? Who do I want to bring along? How do I want it to look? So whatever happened, I feel again outside of your control. I definitely feel like there is help. There is guidance. Temporarily, this can feel difficult. Like someone could have broken up with me. But in the long run, maybe divine has someone else in mind anyway. I could have lost a job, but maybe in the long run, I'm going to end up starting my own business. I often feel like King Pentacles has his own business or is someone who, would be a boss or supervisor, something like that. It just has a lot of wisdom to give. But this Page of Pentacles next to him, I just wonder if this is someone of a younger time. Because we have the Knight of Pentacles right below him, which really, to me, is a guardian angel. And by the way, every knight will complete their mission, come hell or high water. Doesn't mean we have to accept it, doesn't mean we have to say yes. But the clearer our energy, the clearer our choices become. And because the Knight of Pentacles is ushering, well, let's just say something in, because the Knight of Pentacles doesn't come in until the timing is right. So that door closing, by the way, it could just be energetic. It doesn't have to mean I'm kicking someone out of my life. I mean, some of you may be. Someone may have kicked you out of their life, but if that's the case, I have a feeling in the long run, they really did you a favor because I feel like you're moving on. There's changes happening, but they feel very good. And then again, the Hierophant feels like is blessing this next chapter for you, as is Temperance. Like Temperance is saying, you want divine timing to be now, but I want you to close that door now. And when we work hand in hand, the miracles that we can create. But I feel like whatever the door is, and we do have justice right now mirroring the death card. And, Libra, you have to learn to be comfortable with using that sort of justice to cut ties to just whatever is not serving you. What's not serving your highest good. Then in comes your guardian angel. And again, this night says, I come at the right time, not before, not after. Well, that also has something to do with the closing of that door. You know what it feels like? It feels like a good reward, like good karma coming back to you after a period of time. Like now receiving what may feel like miracles, but I feel like well earned, well deserved. I feel this sense of some of you using your voice, and you may be doing it like it may be how you live, like you use your voice, or it could be something that you're about to be doing, and a sense of trusting in your voice. Again, it's like the angels have your back. And I feel like if you're going through anything difficult right now, there just feels like someone is coming in. And I'm not going to say love yet, but I will say soulmate, where I feel like just the right person comes in to help you at just what feels like exactly the right time. This is a great reminder of when we work with divine instead of against divine, we start to see some of our dreams become our reality. It's when we fight divine, like we don't close these doors, even though we know we need to. Well, Temperance is like, well, that's not divine timing. Knight of Cups would say, well, that's not the right time yet. But because it does look like you are, well, then it is the right time. I feel like, the things that you've been through, maybe for the last 5 months, ultimately give you a sense of real courage, ultimately make you more compassionate than you've ever been. And you are a very compassionate sign. You really do want balance. You want fairness for all, but also for yourself. All right, let's keep going. We have the Page of Cups, sensitive, open hearted, intuitive. Love that. I love that under the Ace of Swords. Like intuitively being guided. It's like it's speaking to your inner child. And who knows, maybe in this Five of Cups or Five of Pentacles, which often does feel kind of like a tower energy, though it is temporary. You may have like taken that pain within the inner child. This feels like the healing of it. I want to say don't let anything or anyone cause you to close down your heart. Now, that doesn't mean like if someone comes into your life and let's say, let's say that because we have the strength card here twice, let's say there's some types of temptation that, that may have affected you, but then you have overcome. You certainly don't want to invite anyone into your life who, let's say I'm just using this for an example, but let's say you were drinking a lot. And because of that, there weren't a lot of great, you weren't getting great results in your life. But now things are changing, right? Now you're overcoming. You are finding that power within. You are taming that beast. So I feel like just be careful. Well, let's put it a different way. Because the Page of Cups is here, and it really speaks about your intuition. Anything that's coming in that would be let's just say of a lower temptational energy. I feel like you'll be able to see it and know it. But I do feel like you do have to refuse it. Sometimes I feel like the universe gives us these little tests like, yeah, I'm having a spiritual awakening. But then all I do is like I'm afraid to tell the truth or, whatever it may be. All right, let's keep going. I also want to say the two pages on the board. It can certainly talk about two people's younger energy. But also page can talk about what's in the atmosphere right now. So Page of Pentacles is really about learning. Um, and it's a very relaxed like state. I don't feel like it's me cramming for a test. It's what I'm learning throughout my life's journey. And then the Page of Cups, well, could represent some type of something emotional, let's say, of an emotional nature. We have the Two of Wands. Oh, wait a second. We have a card before that. Another two Pentacles, mirroring your major arcana. We have, well, hello, Ace of Pentacles. Wow. We have renewal. This is judgment. And then we have the Two of Wands. So it is like you, at least part of your life, feels like it's starting a new chapter. You have two energies that speak about rebirth, the Death card and Judgment. It's interesting because Temperance, which her first message is patience, but yet when Judgment shows up, then I feel like maybe that period of time is now coming to an end and like the Knight of Pentacles, it is now the right time. I mean, we literally see the Ace of Pentacles, which the Knight of Pentacles brings in. Even the Knight of Swords is sitting right next to the Ace of Swords. And what I mean by that is I feel like every night will complete their mission. So judgment is saying there's about to be a rebirth in your life. And it's putting you on the path of the wands, which I feel like a lot of people are moving on to. So this should be passionate, desirable, like you should feel intuitively guided towards it. And it's coming like after the fact, after something happened. It could have been somewhat outside of your control. But I do want to say that, also know your part in it, because it's important that we know our part. Like, let's say this is talking about love that didn't work out. But you certainly, don't want to live your life, well, some may, alone for the rest of your life. So what did I learn from that? Sometimes what you learned is what you do not want. Sometimes what you learned is that you need to count on the people in your life. And if you can't, and they threw you a tower, well, really, in the long run, they're doing you a favor. Because this is putting you on a new path. And I love the path of the wands. Feels like you'll be inspired, sitting right next to your spiritual team. Even says self-evaluation. Well, the strength card here twice. That's exactly what we're doing. But then the rebirth. I was not planning on taking this many cards, but we all know how that goes. Ace of Swords. Whoa. Ace of Swords is sitting right below the wheel. I just realized that. So if it's any type of communication, by the way, it could certainly be job offers. Like if you lost a job, or let's say you're dissatisfied, this could be an opportunity. Well, I feel like to do something that you just might love. But sometimes it takes the tower to move us into something or a place that we always wanted to be anyway. We have the 10 of Wands, then we have the Star. Inspiration, fulfillment, faith. Faith. Star is really about your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. But it's about manifesting. And I love that the star is mirroring the Ace of Pentacles. It's like your guardian angel saying, we know what you're wishing for, and we want to help you manifest it. We do need your energy, right? Like we can send you the signs, but then you have to take that step into it. That's free will. Just like the Two of Pentacles. Two Pentacles, they call it the Juggler's card. I feel it's more like using your own logic, like using your logical mind. I love that the star is mirroring Temperance right now. So it's like Temperance, who's telling you about divine timing, but also making sure that you know that this is something of a very dreamy nature. And the Ace of Pentacles would represent it coming into your physical world. Your guardian angel, and then Judgment, who is your spiritual team. Your spiritual team is mirroring the Hierophant, where you are being asked to question just certain things in your life. It even says reflection, right? But what are you reflecting upon? I feel like it's more about how you're living your life. And are you living life according to the way that you really want to? Do you believe that you have like really unlimited potential? It's showing that you have this unlimited potential, but do you believe in that? You know, I feel like you've been giving and giving and giving. And I feel like sometimes you have a hard time receiving. And that may be a part of like what you've been learning is how to allow yourself to receive what's really meant for you. I all these pentacles, and they're all good pentacles, feel like definitely abundance within your money, but it came after a change. See what's on the bottom of the deck? Hello, magician again. Almost like the magician is saying, my dear, you have always had the power in your hands. We have, well, another Knight of Wands. That makes sense because we had the Two of Wands. So the Knight of Wands being under the magician, well, you're probably feeling that energy, passion towards something, or even towards someone, or even both. All right, let's bring in the major arcanas. I know I feel like I'm doing this awful quick, but I feel like we're ready for them because I definitely want to know more about this king who really is the only, well, I was going to say person, so to speak, but pages can certainly be people, knights can be people. I do read them more energetically, though, like what's coming toward you. So some type of communication. Um, could be an offer. It puts you in a question mode. So that does tell you that something is like some type of communication is coming towards you, and then you are making a decision of saying yay or nay. We have the Four of Swords over the Page of Pentacles. We have the King of Cups over the Five of Pentacles. Well, hello. Knight of Cups. Unexpected couple fulfillment over the Ace of Swords. Look at this. And then the Ace of Pentacles over the Knight of Swords. So, whatever this knight is communicating to you, this is something that it's some type of change in your physical world. The Ace of Pentacles is truly meant to enhance your life. And by the way, here is the knight that brings in this ace. Now, it's following the Knight of Cups. Is it the king or queen? I feel like this King of Cups is fading, where I feel like this King of Pentacles is more present and current and has the potential of moving forward if you so choose. I keep saying that because this is a free will decision. It is of an emotional nature, though. I love how we have healing that's connected to the Hierophant. but also you learning about that. And I feel like there's a lot of Libras who are natural healers. It's like doctor heal thyself, and then you can heal the world. Interesting how I feel like this communication also is bringing, well, let's just say, it feels like it's helping to heal any broken little pieces. It's probably love. Doesn't have to be. But because the Knight of Cups is here, it's sitting right on your wheel, by the way, and the Magician's there. So let's just put it this way. With the Magician there, that tells me it'd be something that you want to manifest. Maybe you had a very hard time manifesting, but that could be because there was a certain door that was left open. But once that door is closed, well, divine just comes in and works her magic. At this moment, it kind of feels like the King of Cups. And I'm not even reading it as a water sign. I'm reading it more as I feel someone who, well, I'll be honest, I feel like someone who could have a drinking problem and could tempt you into that energy. All of a sudden, well, I don't know why I'm feeling so bad about this king, but I feel like this king is not very proactive in their own life. It's more about the party than the building up of like my finances or making a strong life for myself. Now, that could be their own lesson to learn. It's not your lesson to learn unless you get pulled into it. But it's showing me that you can overcome that. And them, by the way, and them. I just realized how the Ace of Pentacles is sitting there right with Temperance also. All right, well, let's keep going. And we'll come back and look at the people. Well, we'll come back and look at whatever we feel like we need to. We have the Page of Wands, my little risk taker. Much like the Fool to me. This is what I feel when I see the Page of Wands. I feel that, yes, I have fallen. And I may have fallen many times in life. But the one thing I do is pick myself back up. It's coming right over your major arcana. So I'm speaking right to your soul. It may be asking you to remember the times that you have fallen, the times that you've taken chances where maybe they didn't pay off. But don't regret that because I feel there's a reward just for being bold enough to take those chances and then getting back up again. That's why I call this person my risk taker. We have the Queen of Swords over the Knight of Pentacles. And then we have the Knight of Wands. I think we have all the Knights. The Knight of Wands over the Strength card. So interesting. If we look at again the page as what's in the atmosphere, well, this page is inspiration. It's something you would be passionate about, whether it be a person, a place, or a thing. Doesn't matter. It's something that activates the chakra. And then you put the Queen of Swords right next to that. Well, I feel like that is you. As I feel the Page is also you. But the Four of Swords right above that. Healing. And this Queen definitely looks healed because if you look, she's got all these beautiful white doves around her. To me, that's a sense of truth, integrity, purity. I feel like this Queen knows who this Queen is. And it may have taken some time. I may have had to fall a few times. But the Page goes from a page to a knight. You know, I often feel this about you, but when you take this Queen, which is you, with the Four of Swords, which is over the Page of Pentacles, which is all about learning and growing and learning and understanding that the learning process never really ends. You just become wiser and stronger and more courageous. You know, the more you trust within yourself, the more chances I feel like you take. So this Page now turning to the Knight. And again, every knight is going to complete their mission. So passion comes rushing in. With the Two of Wands is right below it. So I feel like whatever this knight's bringing, you're saying yes. I'm not going to say it's that easy. You may think about it. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, that's what we're doing in the Two of Swords. We're thinking about it. Is this going to enhance my life? Well, that's what the Ace of Pentacles promises. Like when I come in, I'm here to make your life better. Better than it's ever been. All right. All right. We have the Death card. Card Scorpio. I don't know. Have I been given signs? I don't even know. We have the Eight of Swords over the Two of Pentacles. I'm going to come back and talk about that. And then we have the Six of Swords over the Ace of Pentacles. I just realized we have two Aces of Pentacles. Wow. Now that either means two things are coming into your life, or two people are coming together in each other's life. But let's look here for a second. So, over this question, should I or shouldn't I? Is it good or isn't? You know, will it enhance my life or won't it? Well, we do have the star right below it. That's mirroring temperance. So I feel like it's part of a dream, but it is being met with the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is fear. Eight of Swords is where we create barriers around ourselves. You know, that's the human part of us. It's like we feel like that's how we protect ourselves. But it's really our intuition that protects us. So this is a self-created prison. The Death card's coming right before it. It makes sense because it'd be very hard to accept all these aces if you're in the Eight of Swords. I feel like you would say no, where maybe, just maybe, you're meant to say yes. And I mean that on a soul level. Like your soul's like, yes, 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 yes. But the human mind is like, I don't know. Think again of this Page where why I call him my risk taker, him or her. right? I have tried and I have fallen, but I get back on the horse again. Well, there's this page right back on the horse. I feel like the only thing to fear here is fear itself, because the fear is what may interrupt the aces. You know, it may be what makes you say no versus yes, which again is free will. So is the Eight of Swords. That's human energy. That's where we're not trusting our intuition. Granted, sometimes it feels like we need to build up these walls. We feel like it's protecting us, but it's really not. It's kind of doing the opposite. It's trusting in your intuition. It's trusting in your first instinct, especially as it relates to meeting someone. Like if you get a bad feeling, trust that. But if you get a really good feeling, trust that. The Two of Swords or the Two of Wands, it's just merely asking you to take a step upon that path. Not saying that you're making an ultimate commitment. Time will tell. But here's the great news. We now have the Six of Swords. So I feel like whatever has been holding you back, it's no longer holding you back. I feel like anything and anyone who's kind of been getting in your way, not anymore. I feel like you should be proud of yourself because I feel like it's your own evolution that's allowing this energy to happen. So this is you having true realization of what and who is toxic in your life and making a decision that it's not what I want. Again, the Hierophant wants you to question these things. What is holding me back? Well, a little bit of you, and I mean that in the most loving of ways. But I feel because the Six of Swords is here now, this is you breaking yourself free from this self created prison. This is you being very truthful with yourself. This is you using this universal year 9 to make these ultimate decisions of who's going to come along for the ride on this wheel with me and who's not and what's not. By the way, coming right over the Ace of Pentacles. It's almost like the Death card and the Six of Swords. Not almost. They are mirroring each other. So that tells you within the Death card, the door that wants to close had some toxicity anyway. And Temperance and the Knight of Pentacles, who both come at the right time. Well, that just wouldn't be the right time. I feel like we have to learn that. And it really is a sense of power, though. When I claim my power, when I say no to lower vibrational energy, and it doesn't mean always, it's okay to go out and have a good time here and there. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the things that really hold you down, to stop you from having the type of life that you really want. You already have the abilities. Some of you just don't know it yet. Six of Swords, the meaning is moving on. And yes, temporarily, it's also difficult energy, but it's really only difficult energy for those who have a hard time with change. It's temporary. It really is the promise of moving to calmer waters. Again, you have two aces of pentacles coming in. Two things coming into your physical world. Well, the Knight of Cups is bringing one of them in. Hello, your major arcana again. Now, right over your spiritual team. So if you didn't think they were talking to you, now you know. You know, justice is about balance. And Libra, of all the signs, I mean, all of us really need it. But when you feel unbalanced, your world feels unbalanced. But you have control over that. You know, the sword of justice, learning when to use it. Queen knows that. It doesn't always have to be people. Sometimes it's energy, like the Eight of Swords. Also, your major arcana mirroring the Four of Swords. So, you know, whatever happened in the Five of Swords, or the Five of Swords, but also the Five of Pentacles, I feel like this is something that you're going to heal from. You know, it will eventually be yesterday's news because I feel like you're on to bigger and maybe better things. Not maybe, you are. And then beautiful, the Empress. Wow. And the Empress is coming over the Two of Wands. The Empress, the creative one, loving, nurturing, but powerful, strong. How did she get that way? Because she's learned from her experiences. Instead of letting them weigh her down, she just learned from them and cleared them. You know, much like the Fool's energy. We're not meant to bring everything every time in every new chapter, right? Some things just have to go. You know, I use like the closet as an example. You know, if you kept every piece of clothing you've ever owned, it's a sign to the universe that you have no room for anything new. But then you clean out that closet, and it's like all of a sudden things start coming to you. Why? Because you made room for them. The Empress is very creative. And with all these pentacles, man, this Empress could take one of these pentacles, turn it into the Ten of Pentacles like that. Or let's say the Nine of Pentacles. It may be calling for you also to keep your heart open. You know, don't let past people, especially if they were toxic anyway, or if they have their own issues that only they, you know, it's their soul lesson. Don't close your heart down. I mean, it's okay to take time. And by the way, you can do whatever you want. I'm not telling you what to do. But that's what the Empress is. She is loving and nurturing. But you cannot pull the wool over her eyes. Why? Because she trusts her intuition. She doesn't need the Eight of Swords. That's what she's learned. She trusts her energetic force, which we all have. And when you're in the Empress's energy, Truly. If anything comes towards you that, let's just say, has a toxic nature, it will set off the alarms. Like the Empress will know you won't get close to her. You won't get close to her. So if you want close to her, let's say you're someone else and you want close to her, then you know you need to raise your vibration because she carries a high vibration. She's not perfect because no one is. But man, she can take the energy of the magician and she can create the world. I feel like some of you have been laying some groundwork, and it probably hasn't been easy. You might have been like, like one step forward, two steps back. But I want to say don't give up. If it's something you really feel that you would be good at, then don't give up on yourself. Also, because we have the Knight of Cups coming in, another reason to have our heart open. Now, I already know some are going to be like, I don't want love. That's perfectly fine. It doesn't stop it. It just gives you the right to say yes or no. But it won't stop it. What's meant to be will be. And because it's right on the wheel and the Ace of Swords, first of all, I love that it's over the Ace of Swords because the Ace of Swords to me is truth, number one. Yes, it's communication, but it's truth. So truthful communication. And then boom, the Ace of Pentacles, like boom, in your life. Okay, let's keep going. Then we'll go back and look at a couple things before I bring out. We just had a card flip around. The Hermit. Perfect. We're in the year of the Hermit. Literally moving into the year of the Magician. This is all about your spirituality. Sometimes the Hermit does go through the dark night of the soul. But it is in that darkness that where we seek the light. And I feel the Hermit is the light. So you are the light. Some of you are on a very spiritual path, which makes sense with the Empress here. By the way, the Hermit's lantern is illuminating the star. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. But this is about fulfillment. It literally says that fulfillment. So, yes, I can put dreams out there, but I want to manifest them. Well, marrying temperance again, working hand in hand with temperance. This dream requires a door to close. Again, whether it be of a person or just energetic. For some, it could just simply be the Eight of Swords and asking you to really trust within your intuition. But let's go ahead and go over the star. That's too many. Well, too many, but I still got too many. All right. Let me fix what I have. Well, hello, Ace of Cups. Hello, Ace of Cups over the star. Connected to the Ace of Pentacles. You know, love, wow, Knight of Cups is bringing in that Ace of Pentacles. But not just not the Knight of Cups. Temperance is involved. Your guardian angel is involved. This talks about the right time. And that's why the Six of Swords made me happy, because that means that you cleared the Eight of Swords. You just set yourself free. That's all. So if you've been wishing for love, my dear, hang on to your hat. That's also what the Hermit is illuminating. So, spiritual love. Not just any old love, spiritual love. Then we have the Five of Cups coming under that Six of Swords. Seven of Swords. Knight of Swords. So Knight of Swords just jumped down to the Empress. And then we have the Four of Pentacles. Okay, I feel a couple different things. First thing I want to say is I feel like there was, let's just say, a situation, maybe a relationship, could be a job. There was something that carried untrustworthy energy with it. We already know it was toxic to you. And when I say toxic to it, just toxic to you, I just mean that it's something that came in between you and your dreams. And now divine is trying to help you get back to these dreams. You know, the Seven of Swords connected to justice, your major arcana, and the Seven of Swords mirroring the Hierophant. For some of you, yes, it can simply mean a Taurus. But I feel like what it's saying is there was some untrustworthy energy around you. It does feel like of an emotional nature with the Five of Cups there, but the Six of Swords has you leaving that. And why are you leaving that? Because I feel like you now realize that. You know, when I say untrustworthy energy, doesn't mean that it has to be like someone who's a cheater, but it's definitely someone who likes to tell a lot of lies. And I feel like the reason why I tell lies in the Seven of Swords is because I don't want to deal with the consequences. So I'd rather just tell you what you want to hear. Yeah, but I want to hear the truth. Oh, well, I can't do that. It feels like this Knight of Swords is protecting the Empress from this lower vibrational energy. And I also want to say, for some reason, I'm picking up this Four of Wands as something that was built on a very weak foundation to start with. And maybe one of the things that you are understanding now is anything that I build, whether it be a business or a relationship, I want to think about the foundation. I want it to be as strong as possible. You know, if this is about love, then I want someone who, is spiritually inclined, that has compassion and empathy in their heart. Otherwise, you just aren't my person. So I feel like this is an opportunity, especially because I feel like some of you have been like laying the groundwork, whether that's spiritually or like really like putting plans in place. But now it feels like the time like to manifest. Remember I said in the very beginning, I felt like you're going to start seeing the fruits of your labor? Well, hello, aces everywhere. Some of you could certainly be working from home, or that's a wish. Well, I feel like that may show itself. Let's see if we can get one more, and then we'll go back and look at a couple people. I want to look at the King of Pentacles. King of Cups I already get. And again, it doesn't, I'm not looking at this King of Cups like it has to be a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. I feel more this is someone who, well, to be honest, I feel played with your emotions. Okay, I'm taking that one. That's the rest is too many. Oh, jeez. Oh. Well, hello, Knight of Pentacles again. Look at that, right over the Ace of Cups, right over the Star, mirroring the Ace of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is the one who brings in the Knight of Pentacles. I mean the Ace of Pentacles. We have the Knight of Pentacles right here, the Ace of Pentacles right here. I have to say, if this has anything to do about a relationship, wow. This wouldn't just be any old relationship. This would probably be a relationship that lasts forever. Or has a potential. Because, again, don't forget the Knight of Pentacles, its meaning is I come at the right time. Not before, not after. You can see just through the reading how you've been clearing energy. And clearing that energy is working in your favor. Not only is the Knight of Pentacles bringing in the Ace of Pentacles, but now it's connected to the Ace of Cups. So some of you are falling in love. And I feel like one of the clues of who this person may be is their spirituality. And I'm not saying that like this is all someone talks about. You know it. You feel it. You can feel the difference of energy. Where before you were dealing with difficult energy. You know, there was probably a red flag. That's the signs. But our human nature is, like, red flag, but I'm so attracted to them. Yeah, but they're not good for you. Yeah, but I want them. It reminds me of like when I met, let's just say my kid's dad. Um, Everyone told me, I was bartending at the time, and everyone said, do not get involved with him. Do not get involved with him. Now, I'm not going to say he's a horrible person, but he was pretty horrible to me. And what happened when they told me not to get involved with him? I got involved. Now, I can't regret it, right? And I was only 19. Like today I am the Empress. And I mean, it's just the way it is. Like, if, let's say, my ex from way back then came into my life now, like I would know immediately. I'm not saying people cannot evolve, that they can't evolve, but they have their own lessons. And it is up to them to evolve. It's not up to us to make them evolve. I mean, yes, we should help our fellow man and woman. But sometimes it's just not our job to help someone who's just refusing to help themselves. Don't cry over spilt milk. There's a lot more milk. All right. I want to come up and look at this King of Pentacles because he has something pretty major to do in your life. Um, I'm saying he or she, but I want to say I feel, and I know everybody can read differently, and there's nothing wrong with that. But here at my table, our table, to me, the King of Pentacles is someone when they look at life or a situation, they're really looking at the big picture, right? Where we may, we could be like, these broken little pieces, no one's gonna love it. Well, that's just not true. I mean, I get it. We have the Page of Cups and then the Eight of Wands. Well, what I think about, I bring about. It's the art of manifesting. It's also fast moving energy. Connected to the Page of Cups. Well, where is the Page of Cups? Right here. Connected to the Death card, but also connected to the Hermit with the Knight of Cups right above it. So I feel like this knight is coming in. But is he coming in as love or opportunity? That's a question I have. Love or opportunity? King of Pentacles, love, opportunity. Three of Wands, Two Swords. Wow. It's like two different ways of looking at the same picture. Three of Wands is optimism. Two Swords is kind of blocking it. Two Swords could just be natural fear. It's not the Eight of Swords. But yes, I could block it. But if I block it, it's probably because something hasn't been cleared. Because it feels like this is giving you every reason to be optimistic. I don't know. I just don't feel like there's anything to fear here. And if there is fear, I feel like it's more of the human mind. And that's why we have to think about the art of clearing old energy so that it can't come in between our choices, our decisions, right? Because this is trying to make a decision from a fear based mind, where the Two of Pentacles, I feel, is using the logical mind. But really, I feel like it's more about the energy that this person will carry. All right, well, let's go to the other end and let's look at the Knight of Cups that brings in the Ace of Pentacles, both of them sitting over the Ace of Swords and the Knight of Swords. We have the Queen of Cups, the Receiver of the Cup, You know, she's holding a cup in her hand. Look at that. The 10 of Cups. Look at that. Look at the promise of this Knight of Cups that's sitting on your wheel, that's literally coming into your physical world. Ready or not, no, I feel like you would be ready. Because I feel like this, well, I don't feel like it. I see this queen holding this cup, and then it turns into the 10 of Cups. Now, it could have turned into the 10 of Pentacles, right? Because the Ace of Pentacles is right there. But it's answering more to the Knight of Cups, that unexpected cup of fulfillment. She's accepting it. And it turns into the 10 of Cups. Wow. Now I feel like I need to come down here and look at this other ace. Matter of fact, I want to take this away for a second. There'd be two people being drawn to each other. Look at that. Look at that. The King of Pentacles over the Ace of Pentacles. We started to clarifying by clarifying the King of Pentacles, who is saying that it should be, or it should put you in like the energy of believing in miracles. But I already know for some of you, it's going to take a little bit more. And is the King of Pentacles willing to break through that blindfold? I feel like yes. Why? Because there's so much divine energy on the board. So much so that I'm not even worried about the Two of Pentacles, to be honest. Because I feel like it may feel like butterflies, and it may be a little scary, right? Oh, like, oh, I feel your energy, and it feels so good, but it scares me. Well, you know, it makes sense, and we've all been there. Another reason why it's so important to close the door to the past. Extract the wisdom. Yes, that's exactly what the Empress does. That's how she becomes so wise. But how the past can have such an important play within our decision making for the present and the future. To the point for some where you're just going to say no, which is your right. And others, yes, there's going to be a little fear, but nothing that I feel. Listen, between your spiritual team and this king showing up twice, connected to exactly what we're looking at, we'll get by that. That's just what I feel like. We will get by that. Also, a reminder of who is ushering in that Ace of Cups, the Knight of Pentacles, who again tells you I come at the right time. You know, what does that mean? That means that if I brought in this Ace of Cups and I brought it into your physical world, But yet you were still in the energy of the Seven of Swords or dealing with that, dealing with toxic type people and energy. It just wouldn't feel like the right time. The Empress doesn't allow toxicity. Doesn't mean she never has to deal with it, but that's what she does. She deals with it. Okay. Well, we might as well go over to this corner now. So let's look at the Knight of Pentacles, who, by the way, is coming over the star. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. And by the way, you have the actual magician with divine. Six of Wands, victory and success. I have a feeling what this is saying is for some of you, this is definitely feels like love. And it does feel like a very high vibrational love. And I do feel like that's one of the clues. Like this is someone I feel who's coming in who, in some way, you recognize that spiritual nature of them. Listen, they may be a soulmate, and that's what you recognize. But I also feel that there's opportunity coming in. And, it may come through epiphanies, like ideas out of the blue. But that's because the Empress knows that signs are being sent. And she's someone who takes those signs and then gives birth to whatever it is. I don't know. I don't know why I always say I don't know. I do know. I'm just like, wow. And by the way, like the mirroring energy we have, two Knights of Pentacles, two Aces of Pentacles. And I know there's other mirroring energy here. I just can't see it right now. Your major arcana. Hmm. I think I want to go just right across the middle of the board here. The Magician. Beautiful. So now we have two magicians. Well, hello, soulmates. Eye to eye, soul to soul. Literally. You really have nothing to fear here. And I get it. But I would say, instead of saying absolutely not, maybe just take a step into it. The Three of Cups, a reason to celebrate. It's the energy of joy. The energy of joy. I mean, how about that, Libra? Every night has completed their mission, and every night seems to be bringing you in the highest vibrational of energy. But listen, it wouldn't be high vibrational energy if you weren't ready for it. And if you feel you're still in the Eight of Swords, Know that you can break yourself free. And you're the only person who can break yourself free. But you can break yourself free. I feel like remember your inner child. Because I feel like your inner child would take chances and has taken chances. And I know they didn't all pay off. But you did get back up again. This is a soulmate. How could it be anything less than that? When we have divine here, when we have guardian angel energy, but not just yours, also theirs. Each of you receiving the Ace of Pentacles and ultimately has the potential of turning into the Ten of Cups. When the Ten of Cups, that's my love, that's my life. Okay, I'm going to bring in the clarifying love situations, but you know what? I'm going to pick some of these cards up. I just feel like we have so many cards on the table. Just like I was saying, the clothes in your closet. Sometimes I feel like too many cards can be clutter, or there could be something that we missed. I mean, just look at this right here, the star. And what comes out with the star? The Ace of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles. No one else I would want to bring in this ace than the Knight of Pentacles because I know it's the right time then. I know it's the right time. Whoa, I just dropped my whole deck of cards. I'll get them later. Okay, we're going to leave the bottom spread and let's take the clarifying love situations, which really relate to a lot of different things in life, not just love. That's why I've really come to love this deck. Interesting, because at first I didn't. But the more I used it, the more I've come to love it. Or I should say, the more I've come to trust it. Okay. I don't know. The cards just want to be a mess, so we'll just let them be. All right. I'm going to take them the way they came out. Let's start with this one. Frozen heart. Empathy and warmth melts barriers. Ah, for true connections. Empathy and warmth. Well, that sounds like the Empress. Melts barriers. Well, that was the Eight of Swords. For true connections. Do you believe me now? Love blocks. Dismantle hidden barriers to real intimacy and trust. Wow. Right back to the Eight of Swords again. Dismantle hidden barriers to real intimacy and trust. Controlling. Power struggles lead to being manipulated. Well, that's probably exactly what the Seven of Swords was. Transformational. Through learning, shift your perspective and evolve beyond limits. Wow. Got my finger over it. Through learning, shift your perspective and evolve beyond any limits. Okay. It's kind of beautiful. Let's go ahead and bring out the romance angels, since love certainly did come out in the reading. Give him a cut. I'm not even worried anymore whether my cards are straight. This could be the one. This could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner you seek. Well, for some of you, that's a re-strengthening of a relationship, but not one that's toxic. And for others, we saw the soulmates. Well, you do know each other. And I mean that on a soul level. And you will recognize that. Like there will just be something different. Well, again, I feel like it's within their spirituality. You deserve love. Why? Because you are lovable. Look at this woman. She's got her bow and arrow. It's like she is shooting an arrow, which to me is representing love. And it's like she's getting ready to shoot that arrow to the one that she loves. It's like they're across the water. Give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership. I'm happy to see that because I did feel that. I felt like existing relationships have a real potential of really strengthening, like really cementing that bond. But for others, this is about new love. Though it is old love. It's just new again in this lifetime. And why? Because you deserve it. It really is that simple. You deserve it. The mirrors in this reading are quite amazing. So to see the soulmates come out is no surprise because it definitely felt like energy being guided, but together. But I also want to say I feel like there's opportunity for real advancement. Like I feel like use your creativity, use your voice, and opportunities may just present themselves like out of the blue. Remember, this star, it doesn't have to be just one dream. And we got two of pentacles. Really, we got all the aces. What was under the magician? The Knight of Wands. Passion. It's almost like feeling it, right? The magician's feeling it. And therefore, the magician's going to manifest it. What does it say on this card? Manifestation, empowerment, or preparedness. Get ready for the unexpected. I feel so happy for you. And that's what I love about my guides is they allow me to feel how you're going to feel. Even the not so great energy, I feel it like it's happening to me. But I recognize it because I've also been there. So it's a powerful reading with some powerful messages. But I do feel like you're going to need your spiritual ears to truly understand it. To say that you may need to watch it again, I know that my readings are long. So, it's hard for me to say that you may need to watch it more than one time, because I feel like I might be asking too much. But it's not for me. It's so that you understand it. And, I'm saying June, this is for June, but my God, I feel like this is just the beginning. What door needs to be closed so the divine can do her work? And boy, when she does her work, there's going to be smiles. There's going to be love. There's going to be optimism. Like, I can just feel it. Wishes coming true. But listen, it's not just because, it's because of you. It's because you were willing to close that door. It is because you're reclaiming yourself, your power, your voice. And, I feel like my Libra knows who they are. And I feel proud of that. All right, I'm going to let that be. I thank you guys. I love you. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye bye and happy loving. And not just loving, happy abundance. I'll see you next time.